What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners postgame, and we get to talk about a win. Isn't it nice? Before I get started, shameless plug time. As always, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for me. Looking at the analytics of my videos, about 70% of the views on these post games are coming from non subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, it just helps me out a lot if you can hit that button for me on the path to getting monetized and all that stuff. So if you guys could just do that for me, if you're someone that watches and does enjoy it, but you're not subbed yet, just hit the button. Really appreciate it. Thank you again to everybody that engages, likes. Really appreciate it. Love the discussion and the loyal commenters. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate it. The Mariners win 4-1. I get to use a happy face emoji in the thumbnail. It's all good. It's all beautiful. Listen, the team needed a W after that series in Texas. Not much other way to put it. They needed to find a way, whether it was 1-0, whether it was 13-12, whether it was 0.2-0, it didn't matter. They needed to get a win. They do it. They take the first game of the series in San Diego. Chance to sweep the little two-game series tomorrow with George Kirby on the mound. And a nice win for the guys. Were there still some things offensively that were rough? Yes. But again, this is kind of the win that this team was drawn up to get a little bit. So we'll dive into it. They're back to 500, despite all the frustrations, everything, all the arguments, all the talk about spending, not spending, good, bad. They are 500 through 60 games. They're not done yet. They're not 10 below. They're not 13 below. They're 500. They're a win away from being a winning baseball team. Is it good enough right now? No, it's not. But they're not buried yet. They're a 5-6 game winning streak away from being right back in this thing. They don't need to win 14 in a row right now. They just need to win series and play solid baseball. Obviously, the star of the game is going to be Logan Gilbert. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Logan was fantastic. And after 2 series against the Yankees and the Rangers outside of the George Kirby start, the late games always get 1 or 2 yawns in there. Outside the George Kirby start against the Yankees, the pitching had been struggling a little bit. Logan was not very sharp his last time out. Bryce Miller's been beat up. Brian Woo's been beat up. Castillo was good against the Rangers. So I shouldn't say all of it, but the pitching has been a little off. And Logan stabilized that today. Unfortunately, Logan's probably going to be overshadowed a little bit because Andres Munoz is back. And not only is he back, he's back. We saw vintage Munoz. Early in the year, before he got hurt or went on the whatever was going on, he didn't look as sharp. And I think you guys can all agree with me there that the strikeouts weren't quite there. His stuff is still good enough that he's going to find a way to probably get outs. But he wasn't quite getting that swing and miss. Today was classic Munoz. The 8-pitch strikeout of Tatis, the Carpenter that just barely got bat on ball, popped it up, and then he struck out. Who else did he strike out? Was it Kim? Yeah, Hassan Kim as well. That was classic Munoz. I know some people might be a little bit like, using Munoz in a 3-run game. They need to save him for the more higher leverage spots. I agree with Scott. I think you want to ease him in. I don't think you want to throw him right into the fire of a bases loaded 1-out situation. Let him ease himself in for 3-4 appearances, and then you can get him back into that, very high leverage spot. I think this was a good spot. It was against a couple tough hitters, especially Tatis. So I think it was a good first outing for Munoz. And this bullpen just lengthens so much with Munoz back. Now you can really use Matt Brash as that 1-out reliever. He has that strikeout stuff. He can get that 1 out in the 6th. You still have Topa down there. Spire to get lefties. Seawald. I feel like I'm missing. Saucedo's been solid. Losing Trevor Gott stinks. He went on the IL. I had a short on that. Talked about that a little bit. That does sting. But I hate to say this because you take the trade-off of getting Andres Munoz back. But hopefully Gott can work his way back. Paul Sewald, little shaky in the 9th. Listen, gave it to hit to Juan Soto. It's going to happen. He walked Sanchez, but he got Machado, got Cronenworth, and got Dixon to ground out. There's the second yawn, and finished off the 9th inning. Did get the tying run to the plate, but took care of business. So nice job by Paul. Moving on to the offense, Bears did put up 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks. JP was 1 for 3 with a walk. Thought he had a nice game, led off with a single. Julio, 2 for 4. That's right, he did have an infield hit. I forgot he had the infield single. And the home run. Starting to come back. We're starting to see Julio. There's been some frustrations, and overall, it's not where we want Julio to be. But the last couple weeks, we're seeing last season's Julio, and that home run was crushed. Just one of the worst hanging sliders you can throw. Wilson hung one up there, and Julio hit it a country mile. Ty was 2 for 4, had a double and an RBI single. Kelenic 0 for 4. He's in a little bit of a struggle. I may bump him back down in the lineup a little bit. I'm not a big lineup guy at the end of the day. Good teams hit, bad teams don't. But maybe moving him down. Teoscar Hernandez, an RBI single and a solo home run, which technically was the game winner in the 6th inning. That's good to see. Talked about these guys being streaky. Maybe Teo's due for, a run here where he homers in a few games. Cal was 0 for 4. Gino was 1 for 4. Just can't get that power. As soon as you think Gino's about to break out, it just doesn't seem to happen. So waiting for Gino to get going. Ford 0 for 2, Paul 0 for 2, Colton Wong 0 for 2, and Caballero 0 for 0 with 2 walks, including a pitch clock walk. Caballero is the epitome of a troll, and I mean that as a positive. He knows that pitch clock. And again, I think a lot of these guys have spent more time in the minors recently, probably have a better understanding of what to do with that pitch clock. So Caballero, definitely one of those guys, and trolled his way to a couple walks today. So, as far as the roster moves today, I did make a short on it, but Munoz is up, Dylan Moore is up, Haggerty went to AAA and got onto the IL. Obviously, that's an injury, can't do anything about that. I know some people wanted Wong DFA'd instead of Haggerty. If Dylan Moore was left-handed, I think you would have seen it, but I do think they like the option. Now, Colton Wong hasn't hit anybody, so Haggerty hasn't either, in fairness. So it's not like Sam Haggerty's been mashing the ball. I think with Dylan Moore's speed and Caballero's speed, Haggerty becomes a little more expendable. I think they'd like to get Colton Wong going. I think they would. I think he's going to get a couple weeks here to get something together, but I think that might be about it. You just can't keep rolling him out there. He made a couple nice plays defensively. I don't want to be too, beat a dead horse here, but you just can't keep doing it. He just hasn't been good. And at some point, you just have to cut your ties. Winker hasn't been good either. Neither is Toro. I've talked about that at length before. I don't have a problem with the roster moves because you can always bring Haggerty back. You can't bring Colton Wong back. I mean, you could, but realistic, you're not going to. Now, I know some of you might be sitting there going, who cares? Why do you want Colton Wong back? I've said in several videos, but teams don't like to release people. Think of it as any job. If you have a chance to kind of maybe move someone to a different location or fire them, outside of like people stealing and stuff like that, but just performance-based, you want to try and make it work before you let somebody go. It's the same thing here. You're dealing with human beings, and before letting Colton Wong go, it's easier to send down Haggerty. You can always bring him back up. So that's just the route they're going to go. I don't have a huge problem with it. And again, it's not like Haggerty was doing much anyways. Kind of an interesting series with the Mariners and the Padres because certainly teams that built themselves differently, but two very similar teams. The Padres can't win one-run games. They're winless in extra innings. Kind of the same stuff. Now, the Mariners aren't winless in extra innings, and they start to play better in one-run games. But two teams that should be better offensively, and they're not. Like I said, two teams are just struggling to win the close games. Two teams with really good pitching, and just not finding that sweet spot for them. Now, the Padres certainly have done a lot via free agency, more than the Mariners have. But I think two teams that are kind of in the same boat a little bit. And they both have teams in their division that are kind of surprising. With the Padres, you got Arizona, and they still have to deal with the Dodgers. The Mariners have their version of Arizona being Texas. Again, built differently, but kind of a team that you didn't expect to winning. And then the Dodgers, the Mariners have the Astros. So kind of teams in similar paths. Not a great offensive performance for the Mariners. I thought they did a decent job against Musgrove. They got him out after 5 innings. They forced him to throw a lot of pitches, whether that was just from striking out or what. But I thought they did a good job working the count. The Mariners do this a lot. They actually do a pretty good job of getting the pitch counts up. They work the count pretty well. They just don't they can't add that finishing move. It's like just one thing. Like even today, there's a couple at bats there that they maybe could have knocked Musgrove out. Kellenick had one with some guys on base. I don't remember the other one. It was in the fifth, I think. I don't remember, but a chance to kind of get. They just can't seem to do it. To get that knockout blow. But they did a good job of at least getting him out after 5 innings. So a nice win for the Mariners. A win they definitely needed. I shouldn't say, again, not must win, but like you wanted to get this. You wanted to get that W. So hopefully they can finish it off. Sweep this mini series tomorrow. Get back over 500. Get this road trip kind of back in line. I said before I was okay with 4-4 on this road trip. I knew Texas was going to be tough. I thought the Mariners might get one. I thought they might win Luis Castillo's start. I knew the next two were going to be tough. The Padres I thought was kind of a split possibility, and then win 2 out of 3 in the Angels. Now, if you split with the Padres and win 2 out of 3 in the Angels, that would be 3-5. But a chance now. You're 1-3. A chance. If you can win tomorrow, a chance to go 4-4 on this road trip. It's back in line, and it is available to you to get that done. If they can do that, I think you got to feel okay, especially after the way it started, to go 4-1. Now, a lot of games left. Just enjoy it. The Mariners won. It feels good to have your team get a W. So let's take it. Back at tomorrow afternoon with George Kirby on the mound, so hopefully I can get the sweep. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for commenting, liking, subscribing. I will see everybody tomorrow. Probably be late tomorrow night. Actually, I'll try to do one in the afternoon. It's going to be a little tougher. My wife works tomorrow, and I've got the kids, so it's always hard to sneak a video in. But maybe a short one after the game, I can get in there and do it. And then I'm hoping to maybe do a live stream during the Angels series at some point. Would like to do it, so maybe Saturday night I'll do that. I don't know how good Saturday night is to do a live stream. I'm sure everybody would just love to tune in to watch me instead of going out and having a good time, but we'll see. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Enjoy what's left of your Tuesday night. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.